Okay, so here's a video on how to find an edge with your guided edge sharpener. So first we will seat the knife on the edge sharpener. Take a little Sharpie here, we'll run them on the edge. Show you what that looks like up close. Yeah, that's what the edge looks like. So now what we'll do is we will find the right angle, and we will do that this way. Take a 400 grit stone. And we will eyeball it till it looks like we have it right. So you can see we got some of it off, but not all the way to the top and not all the way to the edge. So we'll change the angle and try again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look and see what the angle actually is before I move forward, see how close it is to something standard. So I've zeroed it out on the flat of the blade, and then it's important that you do this at the same place every time. So I go to the edge of my stone, I put it on there. Well, what reading here is about 2345. So what we're going to do to try to get there is we're going to go down to 22. See if that's the right angle. 22. So let's see how that goes. So at 22, so at 22 you'll see that we are getting all the Sharpie off, all the way to the edge. Okay, so now we'll just take this down to where we have a burr. If you were working on this and you see this bevel start to get tall, then you'll want to flip it over and work on the other side a little bit too, so you don't end up with a big bevel on one side and a small bevel on the other. And what we'll do is we'll feel the other side for a burr. And we've got a burr here, but not here. I'm gonna wash our stone off a little bit. Also, if the stone gets metal shavings built up into it, it doesn't like to cut as well. So you want to make sure that you keep it clean. And I can see a little bit of the black marker still on here because I'm not getting all the way to the edge yet, which is why I don't feel a burr all the way down. Now we've got a burr to about right here. Make sure your stone is tight in there. Now we'll look and see how our burr is doing. So we'll run our finger down here, and there's a burr. And we've got a burr all the way down. So we'll take the knife off, wipe it down one time. Check it while you're doing it to make sure that everything is staying even and that you're getting the entire knife. Put it back on the other side. Now what we'll do is you can actually see where the hair is kind of sticking to the burr right there. So now what we'll do is we'll take our Sharpie, run down the edge of it. Like so. Clean our stone so we start fresh. Now we'll check to make sure we're taking the Sharpie off. Check my angle here to make sure it's what I want it to be. And we're at 22. See, I can feel a burr already. So we're apexing really nicely. We'll come back over a couple times. I'm using a diamond stone here, so it cuts really, really fast. We'll inspect our burr. Yeah, so we've got a burr all the way across. So that is a 400 grit stone we're working with. We'll wipe it off real quick. You kind of got to be careful to make sure that sometimes with your Sharpie, it looks like there's still Sharpie on there, but it's not. It's metal or slurry left over from your stone. So now what we'll do is, just to make sure we're getting where we want to be, we're going to take the burr we just put on there with that 140 grit stone off. We're going to take that off just to kind of see if we're at all sharp yet. If you don't get the burr off, the knife won't be sharp at all. So we'll just see. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I wasn't really using any pressure while I was cutting. You shouldn't have to use any pressure to do that. So what we've done is we've sharpened it to 140. We try to take off some of the burr just so we can see if we're at all sharp. And you know, for just a rough diamond edge, that's not too bad. So now we'll just go ahead and polish that edge up. So what we'll do now is we'll go to a 400 grit Chaucer stone. I like to put a little soap in here because it helps me keep the stones cleaner. So I've got some soapy water there. It's not warm. It's nice and cool. So now from here on out, it's just polishing. If you want to stay sharp, you want to try to get a burr each time. So that's what we'll do. Oh, forgot to check the different width stone causes a different sharpening angle. It's a good thing I checked because we'd have been way off. So we'll go up to 22. All right, we're at 22. Polish. So this is a 400 grit Chaucer stone. I'm just trying to, the diamond stone is really rough, so I just want to get some of those marks out before I move on. And again, I'm not using any pressure, just the pressure of the guide and the stone that's on the knife. I'm just moving it forward and back. You want to keep as small an amount of motion in the knife as possible. Okay, so I've pretty much polished that side off. So now we will flip over, check to see if we have a burr, and we do. We have a very fine one. At this point, it's kind of hard to feel the burr, but once you start looking for it on a regular basis, you'll see it. And then you can also see the hair where there is obviously a burr there. Yeah, there's obviously a burr. So we'll go flip it over, make sure our stone's not too dirty, and we'll get these scuff marks out. But one of the big tricks here is always make sure you get down to the burr. And the big thing that a lot of people forget about is you have to take the final burr off when you're done, or your knife won't be sharp. So there's always a place for some good stropping involved here. So I'm moving here. This is a 400 grit stone that we're using. It's got a nice slurry going on here. Feel our edge for the burr. Don't feel it yet. You always want to make sure you're using flat stones when you do this. So, you know, check your stones regularly to make sure they're still flat, because you will kind of gouge pieces out of them as you work on it. And then I like to clean mine as I go. That way I don't end up with black marks all over my stones. So this is just a ceramic home cleaner that I'm using to scrub the stone with. And my stone looks good as new. I'll put that up. We will wipe the blade down. Check our burr. Yeah, we got a burr. We'll put it back on. You know, when you're just starting out, if you're having trouble feeling a burr when you're at the polishing phase like this, I'm going to show you a little trick that kind of helps. If you only move the stone in one direction, it gives a more pronounced burr. So if you only sharpen like this, you'll have a more pronounced burr when you go to check it. So instead of going back and forth, I'm just going in one direction, which gives it a more pronounced burr. So that's what I'm doing, just going in this one direction here. You want to kind of keep your stone wet. It seems to cut a lot better for me, or at least with this type of stone, if I keep it wet. I've heard all kinds of things about whether you should soak your stones or whether you should dip them or spray them. I like the spray thing, but these stones get really dry really fast, so I just kind of try to soak them for about 5 minutes before I start using them. So far I haven't had any trouble with my stones cracking, but I'm not giving anybody advice on what they should do one way or the other. I think a lot of stones are different, and you won't know what they're like until you work with them, but these do drink a lot of water. So that's with 600 grit stone. I'm gonna feel for a burr. Should be a lot more pronounced since I'm only sharpening one direction. However, it's gonna take a little bit longer because it is a smoother stone. So we're working with a 600 grit now. You wanna watch what you're doing very carefully, because you want to make sure that you're getting all of the knife. You want to make sure that you're getting it evenly, and you want to make sure that both sides are the same. If you're spending too long on it, you might want to flip it over and try to work on the other side a little bit, just to make sure that you don't get uneven bevels on each side of the knife. So we're going to get some of that metal that we've embedded in the stone out right there. We'll put it back. Take a look at our burr. Yeah, so we got a burr. We got a nice little burr there. It's pronounced because we only sharpened on one side of the stone. So we'll clean our knife and we'll polish that burr out again. This is some kind of Indian Damascus, some knives. I got a full set of knives off the internet for about $95. So anybody's looking at the steel and is worried that I'm ruining it, please don't concern yourself. I really wanted something made out of Damascus so I could really look at the steel, and so I got these. And it's very high carbon steel, so it sharpens really nice, but it is by no means an expensive knife. So we got a nice slurry going there on this knife. I worked it pretty good. Let's take a look at it and see what it looks like. Yeah, feel a nice little burr under there. Take a look at it, make sure it looks nice and clean. All right, so now we'll clean this 600 off and move on to 800. So this hone stone cleaner really works really nice. My stones look brand new. I really like these things, and you know, a pack of 3 of them was like $5 on Amazon. So we'll move to 800 grit. Put that in our guide. Flip our knife over so we're working on the right side of it. So you need to flip the knife every time so that you're getting the burr that you just put on it off. If you go through all the stones on one side and then start working on the other side, you're gonna have to work a lot harder, and it's gonna be a lot more difficult, and it's harder to know what your progress is. So just flip the knife every time. All right, so we got our knife on there. So we'll put our, and I taped the magnets so that it won't scratch the knife up. So then we'll put our honing stone on there, and then we'll check we will check our grinding angle. So that's 0, so this is supposed to be 22. So this new stone is 22.5, so we'll go down a little bit. It's very important that you stay at the same angle, and the width of the stones really changes that. So we're at 22 again, and we'll go through another round with 800 grit stone. Got a slurry going already, so soaking the stone was really good. I can see the edge polishing up. Got a little movement there I need to stop. Put my hand on it. Be very careful with the tip. You don't want to just run off the tip because it'll start wearing your tip down. So you want to make sure you have the stone all the way on, and you want to finish with the tip in the middle of the stone because you don't want to grind the tip away. The tip seems to grind a little faster than the rest of the blade, so just give it some extra attention when you're working on it. Go slow. You know, I'm doing a lot of this very fast. You don't have to do it fast. And then another thing is I like to watch this end right here because it seems to not want to sharpen as much as the other ones do. So sometimes I'll go down to it and give it a little extra attention. So basically what we're trying to do here is take out our old polishing marks and put a burr on it. So now we'll look and see if that's what we've managed to do. It's looking pretty polished. Let's feel for a burr. Yeah, we've got a nice little burr there, so we'll clean our stone and then we'll flip it over. Alright, so we'll rack our stone back up. It's nice and clean, so we know it's going to cut. And we'll polish out the burr we just put in. Got a nice little slurry going. That's a plus. That's a good sign. Means we're using enough water. Means it's cutting. And also you'll notice that the water color changes in your, where you're wiping your stones off at. That means that the metal that's come off on your stone is actually coming off in the water, and that's what you want. You don't want to be rubbing the same metal back onto the blade that you just took off of it. So watch closely, don't get in a hurry. Make sure you pay attention to both ends of the knife. And don't add any pressure. You know, adding pressure is, it doesn't really do you any good. Especially at this stage where we're just polishing. You know, maybe when I was using a diamond stone, I could have used a little pressure if it wasn't cutting enough. But so far with these Atoma diamond stones I haven't had any trouble with them cutting with just the weight of the stone and the guide. All right, so that's obviously cutting. So we'll check this and see if it's polished enough. So that is at 800 grit. And then, you know, so on and so forth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strop this burr off of here and see how it's going so far. So I'm using a Flex Cut Gold stropping compound on just a piece of leather. I'm not even charging it up right now, I just want to. Okay, so it's not really a mirror or anything. I mean, we didn't really take the grit up that much. But let's see how we're cutting. Let's cutting paper. As I continue to polish the edge up, it'll get better. But maybe that will help with the problem that you're having. Hope you have a great day. Thanks.